Good morning, everybody.
It keeps freezing over there. I'm like, what the heck's going on?
Oh,
what the heck's going on with that? As long as it's not on the stream, it's not. It's good. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tech Shamans. We are down an eagle. He is landing in Miami for some reason.
Yeah.
Nobody lets their friends go to Miami.
I kind of like Miami. It looked nice.
Well,
anyway.
yeah, but see, you're from your west coast of the country, and you haven't learned yet.
I know, I haven't. It's probably
It's like you drove
like,
by Tampa Buccaneers yesterday at the wrong time, and what did that do to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, it's kind of like if you're in California and you go to, if you're in San Diego, Los Angeles, it's probably like that kind of thing because we call it smell A, not,
Right.
Because it's so steamy.
I'm not saying I don't like Miami, but if I don't have to go, I don't go.
Yeah, I get it.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm good. I'm really good not being there. But anyway, so you have a good weekend?
Yeah, we went to Universal Studios. We have family visiting from out of town, and went to Universal Studios on Saturday. Spent the day there. Got to ride a really awesome roller coaster, the Velocicoaster. That is
awesome,
probably one of the best coasters I've been on because it takes you every which way, upside down, corkscrewing, you name it, and loops and all kinds of stuff. Hulk is pretty good too. It's just very short comparatively. But yeah, it was a little bit warm. Got rained on a little bit, but quite nice.
It rained over there.
Yeah, it did. It rained a few times actually. It does, especially when you're trying to have fun with family. That's visiting.
It sucks even worse when it's hot.
Yeah, and it was humid, so yeah.
You're like,
It's like, what in the world? We're in November and it's in the 80s with humidity and rain.
Welcome to Florida.
Yeah.
That's all I can say because it sucks. I don't like Florida.
Really?
No.
I'm loving it here. Gosh, absolutely love it.
I moved here because of a woman, my wife, because she loves it here.
I moved here because of a woman too, my wife.
Yeah, but did you look forward to coming?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no. See, I grew up in the South, and it's always just been hot and freaking humid. When I moved to Connecticut, I thought I'd died and gone to heaven, because you had like 4 real seasons. You had hot, cool, or cool, frozen, and back to hot.
I had been in San Diego, California for the last 40 years before moving here, so a little bit different experience there. It's kind of like 72 degrees average temperature year-round. You do dip a little bit lower at times and a little bit higher at times, but it's
you can wear a jacket.
Very little humidity. Yeah, you
can wear a jacket. Can't here I get. I think I get 3 weeks I can wear a hoodie or a jacket. Other than that, you always have to have short sleeves or material that doesn't.
Right, it has
breeze,
to be able to
it can't
wick off the sweat, right?
Yeah. So
you do sweat a lot here.
I'm okay with not.
But that's supposed to be good for you, the sweating thing,
Yeah, no.
Getting rid of all the toxins out of your body, all that good stuff.
No.
You're allergic to sweat? Okay.
No, me and sweat get along really well because I do it a lot.
Yeah,
I'm a bald dude, man. It just pours off of me. I feel like I'm a hooker in church sometimes. It's like, God have mercy, will it just stop? Like after the hurricane that came through, that was the best weather ever.
Wasn't it awesome? Right after it was completely dry and felt really nice.
And do you know why that is? Do you know what a hurricane is?
They have a big storm.
Okay, but do you know what it is?
Yeah, hot and cold fronts coming together and violently interacting.
Okay. So when the Earth, it's amazing how the Earth can just fix itself, right? We're all sitting here going, oh, global warming. If everybody would stop, just let the Earth take care of itself. This is not the first time this has been a hot planet. I'm just saying that, right? And we've not done anything because there was way more dinosaurs back in the day and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so a hurricane is the Earth's cooling system.
Yeah.
Because what it does, it goes and pulls all that hot water up, right? And then what happens when the hot water gets pulled up, goes in the clouds, again it rains, blah, blah, blah. All the cooler air comes up, and the next thing you know, the winds are blowing the cooler air in, and it feels much better.
Yeah, you know what? It felt really incredible that week
I'm like, that is absolutely awesome. I could have dealt with that like forever, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm just saying. I know. Do I believe we're in a global warming? Absolutely. The Earth has these things where it gets hot and blah, blah, blah.
Well, they used to be concerned about it getting too cold and having an ice age again, right? So
global cooling.
I think it's called a cycle, where it goes
It does. Oh my God.
Yes.
But anyway, so did you tech this weekend? Other than Universal?
Well, you know,
That's
that
big
roller
tech.
coaster that I was
That's
on,
so cool.
the tech in that is amazing.
It is. It is.
And you look at the systems they have that are controlling that, absolutely amazing. So I'd almost say that's teching, because that was a very high-tech roller coaster.
Very, very teching.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Teching awesome.
yeah, it was very teching.
Teching awesome.
No, I enjoyed yesterday, you know, at home with family. We, you know, cooked outside and everything, had just a wonderful time. So
I teched this weekend. I was here Saturday doing. We had the pleasure of having the Early Learning Coalition from Hernando Pasco. They did their once a year big live educational stream that we handled last year, and this year we handled it once again, and it was awesome. We had a couple glitches in the beginning, but it was not on our side. Thank God.
that's nice.
But it was really good. And then Sunday, okay. Sunday I worked a little bit, and then I got home, and then because I have kind of held off from watching this certain show, I started binging Yellowstone from the beginning.
Yeah, I've heard really great things.
You
about it.
got
I
to
need
be
watch
in.
that.
You got to be into cowboys and Indians, literally, because it's what it's all about.
I hear they're taking heat also because it's just a little too conservative or something. That's why I'm interested in watching it.
It's very. You better not have thin skin to watch it,
Yeah.
because it was I saw it, even though it was kind of funny. I'm not. I guess now you can show boobies and stuff like that on normal TV, because in the first season, when I got through season 1, there's a lot of boobies.
Yeah.
I don't mean side boobies or inside boobies. I mean boobies. And you're like, damn, that's pretty good, man. So, but it is, and you know, you would think it's about rodeos and stuff like that, and it's kind of funny. They make fun of the rodeo guys.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
See, now-
no. He goes, you know, there's one guy going, you should have rodeos here, and he goes, we don't care about rodeos. We're ranchers.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah. This is real life.
That's a joke and blah blah blah. I'm like, wow. But anyway,
Those guys aren't real cowboys. They're just performers in a way, I guess.
that's what I didn't say that, but yes,
Sounds like it,
that's
yeah.
what they were saying. So, but anyway, so we're going to jump into some stuff here real quick. And you know what? The first one out of the gate is hacking, because even though we should have talked about this last week, but we didn't. But hacking group abuses antivirus software to launch load info malware. Now, my brain says hackers, they're always abusing code, always. But I guess this is in a way that's this is more like super directed.
Yeah, this is a targeted attack specifically at the Japanese government, and this group out of China, the Cicada hacking group, has been going after them since about 2019. So it's one of those things where you've got a very targeted type of attack, and it's persistent since 2019. So there's a lot of security experts that are looking into this, and they're learning a lot of really interesting things, because what this group is doing is they're taking a combination of some old, ancient type of cryptographic types of schemes and injecting that into some of the stuff they're hacking, so that they can gain control of this security software, K7 security suite. And that must be what they're using in the Japanese government, because they keep going after them, and they're seeing some very specific targeting types of efforts with using some old and new tricks. And honestly, when we get to see stuff like this in the security space, it's how we learn how the hackers are doing it, but they're constantly evolving as well. And this is one of those things, since we've got over 3 years of hacking on the Japanese government, this group, APT-10,
Take that and put it over here for me.
is
There you go.
APT-10 is going after them with a vengeance, it seems. So there's probably some incentive there that we don't know all the backstory to.
Oh, okay.
So this is a specific attack, and that's what makes this one a bit
sounds
more
like
interesting.
they're warring.
There's no evidence that the Japanese are fighting back, but I can imagine they are.
Oh,
And there's also all the history that goes back to World War II, if you think about
right,
it.
with China and against.
Yeah, in China, you know, the Japanese were brutal.
You know, it's kind of funny you say that. I was watching a documentary a couple of weeks ago about China and Japan. right? And everybody, when you say China, you always think of the kung fu and the peacefulness and how they're all like chilling and trying to be. They were the two most brutal societies
Yes.
almost ever.
Yeah.
They were to each other, especially.
And I can tell you this because I was when I was in the Navy, I was stationed in Japan, and whenever we went to places like Hong Kong or Singapore, where there's a lot of Japanese and Chinese citizens,
right.
they're still very upset about it. I guess you could say there's
still don't like
there's
each other.
animosity there,
Right.
and it's like when I said that. My ship was visiting. I was on a tour,
Okay.
and I was visiting Hong Kong, and it was almost like, almost like I was being treated as a Japanese there for a minute. And then she goes, "Well, I'm in the Navy," and okay. And then this lady, the tour guide, proceeded to tell me how her family, basically her grandparents and even her parents as children were just so badly treated. The Japanese were ruthless, and they're still very bitter about it. Same in Korea. In South Korea, where they're a strong ally of the United States, and there's a lot of animosity there still.
Right. I mean, if you go back and look societal, I know this is turning into a history lesson.
Mm-hmm.
In society, if you go back and look at the Chinese history, they were brutal to their own people.
Yes.
I mean,
Japanese too.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, the China Wall, the Great Wall, has literally generations buried underneath it.
Yes.
They would literally, if they died on there, they got buried in the wall.
Right.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and that's a over 3,000 mile wall.
Yeah,
so
so
that's
you can
a
imagine,
lot.
Yeah. And
very
they go,
brutal.
and it was funny. They would hit the next village. Those men were made to work, or actually, those people were made to work. It wasn't just men; it was men and women and
Oh, yeah.
children. And it's like,
Everybody was enslaved
so
for that type of.
everybody's like, "Oh, they're so peaceful in China. They're so peaceful in Japan." I'm like, you don't have any idea what you're talking
Yeah.
about. There are, there are the monks and all that kind of stuff that are, they're peaceful and stuff like that. But as a society, they were to each, especially to each other.
Oh, they
were
still are. I mean, look at the Uyghurs. The Uyghurs are being,
brutal.
basically it's
Yes.
genocide against Uyghurs right now.
Right. So, and we're going to jump to this next story now. So anyway, is that something is this hack going to affect us at all?
Well, it could,
Down the
because
road?
these hacking groups share with each other, and this load info is an injected type of code that will do even something like a diskless type of writes. In other words, it'll inject into services and things like that, and won't even write to the drive in a lot of cases. So this is a very sophisticated type of attack. And again, it's like when you're talking about all the different types of attacks that are out there, some are very targeted and some of them are just blanket spread out there. And if you happen to click on the wrong link or the wrong web banner or whatever, you're in trouble. This one is a targeted type of attack.
Okay. Well, so then it could be issues then. All right. Well, that scares the crap out of me. That's great.
Luckily, we have guys looking at it that'll learn more from it, and definitely will be able to find ways to
Guys
detect
like
it, prevent it.
right
Yeah.
here. I'm going to point right here because I look at it and go, we can just turn the internet off. I'd be okay with that.
Well, that is one way to take care of something like that. Turn the internet off. But
One
how do we
country messes
function?
it up for everybody.
How do we function
there you go.
in this day and age without the internet?
Stop running in the house of scissors. You'll put your eyeballs out.
Yep.
There's just that one kid, right? One kid gets all in trouble. But all right, so we're going to move on. That Puerto Rico iconic observatory, they're not going to replace it.
Yeah. Gosh.
I was kind of hoping they would, because it's kind of a big deal,
It's a huge deal. They even made one of the movies that I'm really familiar with and I really liked was Contact with Jodie Foster in it. This is where they detected that other life, that eventually came to visit,
Right.
and it was with they're kind of like supposing here that this is the first observatory that sent out a signal out into space. With the attempt to contact, intelligent life outside of this,
I
outside
remember
of our
it from
solar
James
system.
Bond.
Yeah, GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was the secret base.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know I've seen that, but it's been so long I don't remember which one it is. Yeah.
Slid down inside of it.
This is a really cool place. 63 is when it first got put into use, almost 60 years ago.
And it's actually had some of the major fines.
Oh yeah.
Major fines.
And
you
it
know?
was heavily relied upon in the astronomy field, and I'm really surprised they just let it go. But then again, this is showing you the awesome power of nature and how, they're in the jungle, and it overgrew the entire area there, and the cables ended up falling, which caused the actual telescope part to fall into the
Right.
dish and destroy it. But yeah, some interesting discoveries here.
It's very sad.
And yeah, I was into astronomy when I was younger, bought my own telescope and everything after shoveling snow and cutting grass.
My dad
and all
was
that.
like, that's Satan's work. Stay away from, you get y'all, he's afraid I was going to get into, what are you, a Taurus or a Libra or whatever that is.
Mhm.
I don't do astrology, so I probably shouldn't because I think I'm one of the scary ones. I think Taurus is, we're mean or something
Yeah.
like that, so I don't know.
I think it's cool stuff.
Yeah, of course, now I like Mandalorian and Grogu and Star Wars and crap like that, and Star Trek Star Trek is my favorite sci-fi period,
Oh,
other than Space 1999.
yeah, I like Space 1999. Star Trek, I kind of got into it. I watched it as a kid, but I didn't like obsess. But yeah, I know there's folks that totally get into it and even, get into the whole dressing up and all that. So
Well, I just couldn't afford it, but now I have little my whole nerd talk stuff. The Nerd Quest set over there has got we got a little bit of genre from everybody. So the Stripe founders from memo explaining its layoffs plan to employees is a remarkable candid look at why so much of tech is in a free fall. Do you think tech's in an actual free fall?
Well, earnings are down across the board. There's lots of things going on. It's not just, this. It's like several. I mean, Stripe is certainly a big company out there as it pertains to tech and all that. And they did get up to 8,000 employees or so, and they just dropped 1,000 of them. That's the 14% drop that they're talking about.
Damn.
So could you say that that it's in a free fall when you drop 14% of your workforce? That's significant.
Well, could that also be the fact that everybody and their brother are starting their own credit card processing company? So it's
possibly a small part of it.
Because
But
in the beginning, what'd you have? You had PayPal. You had
PayPal is definitely big. That's what
Stripe,
launched Elon, right?
Square, and then where was another big one too? Because we all got tired of the banks were ripping us off.
Yes.
So that's the reason. Well, PayPal was invented. PayPal was brought out because of eBay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't. It really. That's why PayPal showed up. But companies like Stripe, Square, Panda, or whatever that is, and then. But now, it's like I go to networking meetings and I swear, sitting in there's probably 4 or 5 different credit card processing companies.
Well, all the card processing companies are trying to make it easier by giving you little things you can either Bluetooth connect to your phone, your smartphone, or plug it into the headphone jack type thing. So certainly you have the ability to process in a lot of ways. Since they were the market leader, I think this is another impact of things like inflation. People aren't buying as much. I mean, even like in the chip market, and I know that's not one of our topics here, but the chip market, went through an incredible shortage during COVID to an incredible glut, and now they're having to lay off people too, the chip makers. So we heard it. Supply chain issues, the chips, right?
Constantly.
The reason we're not getting new cars on the new car lots is because of chips and the shortage. Well, now
Right.
we've got a glut of chips, and even they are having to lay off people. So it's across the board, just because I think primarily, inflation, because people can't buy as much because their money's not worth as much, and there's other things going on that's causing uncertainty. Whenever there's fear, uncertainty, or doubt, FUD. FUD creates a confused buyer, and buyers will not buy it when they're confused.
That's very true. It's bunny trail. So let's talk about the automotive side, right? As much as I love my truck, which is but it's semi-smart. It's got Bluetooth and all that kind of stuff in it. I do miss the days where you could go in, put your key in, start the car, and you had a radio, and that was it.
Yeah,
That was it.
simple.
I loved it. Matter of fact, I'm in the process of looking for like in the 70s box truck. Not a box truck, but like the old F-150s that were just boxy.
Yeah.
Because they were some of the more simpler motors to work on. and let me tell you something. If we ever get hit by, if we ever get nuked or we get hit by a, electrical impulse that will knock this, the new cars aren't going to run.
Yeah, everything with electronics is going to be.
And then with the old
taken
cars,
out.
you just go and put a new cap in, do a strip, new rotor, and you're ready to rock and roll.
Right.
So I think every family on this planet should have an old 1960s, 1970s vehicle. Just
Yeah,
sitting
pre-electronics in the vehicle.
here. Even the ones where you got to gap the points.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because I know how to do
You got
that.
to just get that right piece of metal, right? That little gap.
Gapper, and then you put it in there, you're running,
And
then
just bend down.
you don't have to worry about I can't go nowhere because my Tesla's blowed up, but so. Let's jump over to the key to easing and securing account creation and conversion. I don't know what this is. I did not put this in here. So
I think that's Adam. I think he put it in to mess with us.
Adam, if you're going to put stuff in, brother, you got to be here to talk about it. I don't understand it.
I looked into it a bit. It's basically the problem with all of the hacks that have happened out there is that credentials are lost. In other words, usernames and passwords. So how do you get around this? And this has been the plan.
Turn the internet off.
Yeah, that does work, as we established. It would work. But for those of us that want to use some of the modern conveniences of the day, we need to have the internet. So what you're getting here is an attempt to move away from traditional username and password type things.
Okay.
So that's what they're talking about with the new iPhone's iOS 16 update, is moving away from it. But here's the challenge also with something like this. They're going to have to make this, right?
Right.
Because it's not like it exists. Now, sure, we have things like biometrics. We have eye scans, we have fingerprint scans, we have blood scanners even, things like that. Which, nobody wants to do that. But if you're a fan of Gattaca, that's where they had to do their DNA test, right? So we can do all those things. And eventually those things will be very effective means of doing identity.
Right.
Authorization or authentication. So that's what this is kind of moving towards, is a other than credential-based system. Because again, if you look at the majority of the breaches out there that happen, it's usernames, passwords, and of course other personally identifiable information that's lost. But that's what the move is. It's trying to get to there. So there's a couple things that have to happen with this particular type of moving forward, as they say, low code, no code. And there's a whole summit that they do on this, where they get together all the leaders in the field of trying to develop this. It first has to be developed, and then second, it has to be not only implemented but adopted by the users. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but in the United States, people are pretty slow to adopt things, and it's why we got behind on wireless technology, for instance, like in Europe and in Asia.
That's why we were behind on QR codes.
Yeah. All these types of things are examples of that.
Europe's been using it for decades.
Right, and same thing with Wi-Fi. They're like 20 plus years ahead of us on some of the Wi-Fi tech and things like that. So this might prove to be another one of those types of things if it's not adopted here, which is the biggest consumer base of, almost everything. That might slow it a bit, but that's what's being talked about here, is that moving away from traditional forms of username, passwords to log into websites and things like that. Now that also means that the websites, because they're the ones that are using this, the websites are the ones that are going to have to also adopt and implement this. So anybody that's trying to get user logins, in other words.
Okay. That makes more sense now, because I didn't know what was going on. Sometimes you guys put stuff in here, I'm like, good thing they're going to be on, because I do not know. So let's talk about Twitter. And like him or love him, Elon is cleaning house.
He is.
And now all of a sudden, all the advertisers are like, maybe it's time to back off and just kind of see where he's going with this. Because,
I think
is it a winning thing or is it a losing thing?
I think this is media being complicit with the powers that be, whatever those powers are. I think this is an attempt to punish Elon. That's what I think. That's me,
The funny thing is,
I see too many things that lead me to that I can't ignore. So,
to me, it's like, okay, fine. You all the Twitterverse is upset because Elon. all he's doing is making it an even playing field now.
That's what he's going to attempt.
And really, the software, he bought the software to help with his other platform.
Oh yeah.
Ultimately.
If you saw what his goal is for this whole thing,
Right.
yeah, he wants something that's going to be like WeChat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is a very powerful type of platform that's being used in China right now
Right.
to basically keep a thumb on, because it's really that. China's putting the thumb on all of the people because they know every single thing they're doing, and they can influence their buying, even their other forms of transactions, whether it's selling or whatever. They have complete oversight, I guess you could say, of everything that's going on. So that's one possible
Did
thing.
China give everybody a phone or something?
Yeah. They want to know where everybody's at all the time, and they have facial recognition software, kind of like our.
Talks.
You know, we have these. We have some pretty cool technology here too. We don't talk about it a lot in the media, but things like the license plate recognition.
Yeah.
You know, it can scan like 3,000 license plates per minute or something like that. And they're using that same type of thing for facial recognition to always know where people are at in China.
And so.
And that's being talked about here too as well.
Well, in America, I mean, you started using your facial recognition to open your phones. Well,
Yeah, thank you, Apple.
guess who got all that?
Yeah.
The government. Thank
you,
very much.
Apple.
So, and then your fingerprint. So, if you
Yeah.
own an iPhone, your fingerprint and your picture has been logged in.
Yeah.
So you're in the system. I love that movie.
Yes. Anybody that has a smartphone truly is in the system, though. So
That is true.
It's basically a tracking device. So yeah, but that's kind of going off. And I'm sorry, taking down a rabbit hole here.
I love rabbit holes because rabbit holes are fun. Speaking of another, so this is not a rabbit hole, but Apple's trying to get rid of hay.
Mm-hmm. I guess that simplifies things. They're listening all the time anyway, right? Here's another. Here we go again. Another
Are you going to start going?
central rabbit hole.
Hey, Facebook, stop listening. No, John, I can't stop listening.
Yeah.
You can turn all that crap off and it don't mean anything.
I guess they just want it. I don't know how many times Siri starts, listening and That's what it does on my wife's anyways. She has it like that. So it's always listening. And it's like, I didn't say that. Shut
and you
up.
can change the name of that, by the way.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can change Siri's name to something else.
Yeah. What do you change it to? Because it seems to pick up if you say something that sounds even the least bit like
So if I look at my phone
Siri.
and go, Siri,
Not yet. You got to do, hey Siri.
hey Siri. Yeah.
There it is.
I like the hey because
Yeah.
it gives me a cue.
Right.
Because I can talk about Siri and it not pick up, like especially if you've got in the truck I have my iPad, which is my truck is smart, but it's not that smart yet. Because my truck is meant for Google or Android,
Right.
not for Apple, so I can't connect other than Bluetooth and stuff like that. And so I like the fact that I have to say, "Hey," because if not, I have two things that are going to start talking.
Well,
at the same
the
time.
one thing I do see with this is if it's reduced just to Siri, it's going to trigger on a whole lot more things.
Oh, absolutely.
So that part I don't like because they're listening and they actually record. I think they said 20 seconds before
it's
you even say it. It's always listening, but it actually goes back as much as 20 seconds to get to the right context of whatever's being asked. And that part is very, that to me is very invasive. We don't like it, but gosh, the convenience. And that's the thing, right? The whole conversation
All
around
about
security
convenience.
is how much convenience are you going to, fall for to give up that security?
Right.
So that's the big trade-off, convenience versus security.
There's no such thing as security anymore, as far as I'm concerned.
That's true. If you have a
So-
smartphone, you're tracked all the time, or can be.
Your wife knows, or your husband knows where you're at all times,
Yes.
which I don't care, but anyway. So, FinTech,
FinTech, yeah, financial tech.
the layoffs just keep coming, bro.
Yeah, it's kind of along the same lines of the high technology stuff, right? So the financial tech stuff is following suit. So it's I think you have to take into consideration we're not buying as much because of, our dollar being worth less. I don't want to say worthless, but worth less than it was before because of all this stuff going on. So there's got to be that. And I mean, we're talking even all the big tech companies and financial companies are affected here.
So that I was listening to Fox Business this weekend because I just kind of I have to get a little bit of news, right? And you're right, man. The tech sector is just getting kicked the hell out of. I mean, you're laying people off, and they're not even, it's we're in a recession whether people like it or not.
Yeah.
And it sucks. And I wish everybody would get on the same page and go, okay, how can we fix this? Raising the rates is not going to fix this, right? But printing more money is not going to fix it either.
Yeah.
So it's going to get to the point, I think by the middle of 2023, you're going to see a shitload of businesses go out.
Yeah, and in California in particular, their businesses are dropping, so quickly, and those that can are moving out. I don't know if I shared this before, but just in the last 10 years, 18,000 businesses left California because of the policies there, the state of California's policies, and they've come to places like Florida or Texas or North Carolina and Tennessee and all that. But it's for the same kind of things that now we're seeing nationwide. So, financial technology and fintech firms, like, for instance, Chime lost 12% of its employees, Open Door 18%. We talked about Stripe, 14%, which is 1,000 employees.
Right.
ChargeBee, 10% of its staff. So when you get into the double digits of laying off employees, it's like a hemorrhage at that point, and that's what we're seeing.
That's crazy. But Apple, we're going to go back to Apple real quick. Apple ain't laying nobody off. Kinda.
Well,
But
it looks like they may be soon. That's kind of some of the stuff I've seen, so it's possible.
So I put this in here because it just makes me scratch my head, right? So the news article that came out said that Apple has finally approved a MagSafe car charger mount, and it only costs $99.95. But it's not theirs, it's Belkin. Now, see, I have one. There's a box over there that next to Rob. I don't know if he can throw it over to me or something like that, but it's sitting at the end over by the med kit. I have these in my truck. Actually, I gave these out at Christmas at one point in time, and they're called NATO, right? So this is what I got, and I'm not paid by them to talk about them, but they have a mag for your phone, right? That will charge your phone. I have one in the truck.
But not at the high speed, though, right?
Yes, it will.
Oh, it does, because that's supposedly why they released this one.
No, this is the one they approved.
They approved.
The one I got.
That's the key here, right?
Yep.
Because
it's approved by
Apple.
Apple.
Let it. So the other ones were simulator types of. Are they?
And mine, the one I've got is I think the NATO one I have is 12 watt. And this is only 15, so it's not that much difference.
Yeah, I mean, charging time, that would be the main difference. So
that's because 15 watts is supposed to, like the other day my wife says, oh, I didn't plug my phone in last night, and I'm like, well, you're not supposed to you're not supposed to do that,
right?
And so I said, well, let me have it and I can get it charged in 30 minutes. She goes, what? Because it takes her charger that came with her phone, it takes it 4 or 5 hours to completely charge it. Well, I said, I have a 12 watt charger, and I'm just going to plug it in. I plugged it in 35 minutes and it's fully charged.
Right.
So, and it's because of the wattage.
Correct.
So
with this one, you're saying that 3 watts is not a lot, but it's still 20%. So what's 20% of an hour?
No, the one I have in the truck is 12 watt.
That's what I'm saying, but this one's 15, right? Supposedly?
Yeah, so you get 3 watts less. So.
But that's 20%.
Okay.
That's, on 60 minutes, that's 12 minutes, savings if you were to look at it over an hour, or 6 minutes on.
Okay, so I'd say 9 minutes.
Not a whole lot, but still, yeah. But the whole point of this one is that Apple let it, right? Because
the minute Apple goes, yeah, we're good with it, blah, blah, blah.
But again, it's through a third party and not their own.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's not, because when I read the article, at first I'm like, oh, good, that's going to be cool. It's actually an Apple. Nope. It's not. I'm trying to find it's the NATO. It is, and it's made for, where'd it go? I'm trying to find it right now. Sorry, guys. It's a one pack. It's only $39.
Yeah.
So.
That's a whole lot better. I would say that that 6 minutes wouldn't make that much, difference, for a $60 change.
It wouldn't.
For $60 more, 6 minutes more. It's not bad.
Anyway, but to me, I'm like, and it's like everything. I don't like Belkin. I have bought some of their stuff, and it has ruined some of my electronics.
Yeah, that is
to me,
a problem.
That's a big freaking deal.
And I don't like a lot of the third-party charging solutions, so I typically go with the branded that matches my phone type of chargers, especially because you can ruin, especially in a car, like a car charger. Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, those are horrible.
If you read your terms of services when you buy and your warranty on your phone, or you're in your electronics, if you don't use what they tell you to use, you void a warranty.
Yeah.
So when you go get stuff fixed and they say, well, are you using the right charger? Yep, I'm using the one that came with. Because the minute you say, oh, no, I bought this Walmart brand, blah, 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 they're like, well, it's out of warranty.
And a lot of it's junk out there. So if you get one free at a technology conference or something like that, I wouldn't trust it.
Oh, God,
so,
don't use those.
Yeah.
They used to give away the cigarette.
The cigarette lighter ones, yeah.
I'm like, they're like, here you go. I'm like, no, you can keep that.
Yeah.
That'll smoke my electronics.
Same thing with like the USB drives. They give you those things. I went to a security conference where somebody was giving those out, and then they announced to everybody, hey, just want to let you all know who all picked up one of our USB sticks. And you saw like 90% of the hands go up. How many of you put them into your computer already? And of course, the majority of the people raised their hand and said, well, we just wanted to see if our experiment would work and you all could have been infected with a virus. We put something on there that's like a virus, but it just was something that wouldn't actually do any harm. So yeah, you got to be wary of those types of things. But
yeah, I put them in. But my computer won't let me use it until it scans if it's not seeing that USB drive, it automatically scans it.
That's great. That's a good policy to have in effect.
See, I'm smart. All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk. We're going back to Twitter, because how have we all want the blue check, right? And you sit there and go, why are some people getting the blue check and some people are not getting the blue check, or companies get the blue checks and other companies don't get the blue checks? And so now they're getting ready to roll out. You can do a subscription service that includes the blue check.
So since not everybody knows
difference?
since not everybody knows what the blue check mark is, why don't you talk about that a little bit?
The blue check means you're real, that you have supposedly gone through verification. They make sure you're real, that you exist, you're not a bot, that what you say is out there, and it means you're a Democrat. Sorry, it doesn't mean you're a Democrat.
Yeah.
I don't, but it's kind of weird that.
Did you hear that several of the Twitter accounts for Biden were actually bots?
No, I did not.
Oh gosh, yeah, that was one of the things that came out too.
God.
When he was up to buying it a month ago or so, they were talking about all that.
But I wonder. Let me see.
And they didn't want that exposed, of course.
Is there a price? Have they come up with a cost yet? It's $7.99 a month.
Yeah, they were talking about roughly $8.
It's going to cost.
I thought there was going to be a $4 offering to or something like that.
$36 a year to be verified. Is that right? 8 times 12?
No, that's $96.
$96 a year to become. I don't know what's wrong with me. I've been hitting the head a million times. $100 a year to become verified.
I think they might lose a few subscribers.
I don't know. Do you use Twitter?
I do. I have things get posted automatically from blog articles and stuff like that. So I do get occasional, like 4 times a week, 5 times a week. So, and occasionally I'll go on there, especially if there's a juicy story or something to look at.
Juicy. Juicy. It's got to be juicier. John doesn't watch it. Yeah. I'm just saying. So that's. I don't know. I kind of watch it. companies have one. I personally don't have a Twitter account. I personally don't want to put a Twitter account. I personally don't even want a Facebook, nor I want an Instagram or anything like that. But there's some things that make it personal before you can have a business.
Yeah.
So I deal with it.
I actually withdrew from Twitter and rejoined after Elon said he was going to buy it. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's good, right?
Because the former CEO was, pretty much involved with all the, censorship and all that, and I didn't agree with that. So that's how I showed my.
So since we're talking about that, the next article. Let me see if I can go get the. Where'd it go? Well, here we're gonna work because we're gonna pick on Facebook. Social media users spend less time and lose trust in platforms when they encounter censorship. Boy, that's what a study said.
Yeah.
Nearly half of social media users say they have encountered blocked or labeled content on platforms. So, and I can speak to somewhere of this. So, YouTube sent a notification to us over the weekend saying that they took down one of our videos, which is fine. I don't care. We take on the Area 52 YouTube. We take them down anyway. Rob keeps them clean because we don't need 12 hours worth of shows being up and then just eating up space, right?
Right.
So we have a tendency, but they took it down because one of our shows is it's called Tactical Talk. And they talk about politics and they talk about gun ownership and proper gun ownership and what you need to do and because someone was one of them were holding one of their guns to show proper usage, they took that down because their terms of services, and I get it, says, we take down anybody holding a gun. Well, that's bullshit because I've sit there and watched news stories with people holding guns still on there.
And that type of censorship, is supposed to be protected. I mean, that's kind of free speech, right?
Well, okay. So here's John's thought. This is John's mind, not the station, which still is kind of John's thought. That if you are on somebody else's platform, so if the government of the United States started a social media app, I don't care what it is, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. If they did it and they said this is free to all United States citizens, since they created it and it's open to the citizens, then free speech is protected. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But the minute you joined Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Vimeo, anything that is not a open platform, it is a controlled platform by that company, you have to abide by their rules. There's no such thing as free speech on that. You got to look at it. You got to look at it at a broader
right.
perspective. Now, I would love to sit there and go, well, it's my amendment, First Amendment right to go blah 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 and say what I want to say. Well, no, it's not, because it's a platform that you're allowed onto for free, and you have to follow their rules. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's kind of like no shirts, no shoes, no
right,
service
exactly.
type of thing.
So if you want to run the chance of getting your stuff kicked off, which we do because we have a show that talks about that, well, that's I have to go, okay, well, they did it because I didn't follow their rules.
Right, and I do get that, and I also want to acknowledge that in this country of the United States of America, we do have
greatest country in the world.
We do have free speech, so they are infringing on that right. But as you said, it's they have the ability to do that. Right. It's just that we need to have consistency across everything. So
that absolutely we do, and that's the problem.
That's why there's a problem, is because in some areas, like you must support things like the cake shop owner, or Hobby Lobby, and in the case of Hobby Lobby, they won.
Cake shop owner won.
They won too, but look what they had to go through. They had to go through a lot of defamation and things like that.
Well, they become firefighters.
Yeah.
And we're live right now, so they became firefighters. And what that means is you have to go put fires out because people are saying things that are wrong, and they run you through the mud. So now you're like, oh my God. and that's why a lot of people will quit and get out of business, because
Yeah.
they don't want to be firefighters. They just want to run their business. And okay, so if you're on you like our website is hosted on GoDaddy, and I went and read the GoDaddy terms of services. Believe it or not, I read the 35 pages
Oh, wow.
of the terms of services, right? And it's an open platform. They really can't tell you can't say, can't do. Now, it may go against their internal culture, but they can't say, well, you can't do this.
Got it.
Because if you watch their advertisements, you have a voice. Come on here, BBB, say what you want, do what you do. It's your website, Bob. So our website now has become an open forum, which we don't restrict anybody.
And you have that right to do that because of, it's yours.
But social media, and I've said this since day one, do I like the fact that some of them can kick us off and don't like what we're saying and blah, blah, blah? No, I don't like it, but you know what? I got to play by their rules because it's their rules. You would think me being an independent and, and I lean a little more right than I do left, that I would be, you can't do that. No, you can't. You just can't. You got to run by their rules. Their rules are their rules. And if you don't like them, then don't play. If you don't like their ball, if you don't want to play in their game, don't.
Well, that's what this article talks about too. Is people are walking. They're showing their their dislike of these policies, and they're leaving or they're not using it as much. And even Facebook is one of the tech giants that was facing layoffs and things like that, and that was most likely as a result, but also because of their big change to AI and stuff like that. So, but there's definitely people are speaking with their feet, so to speak, as they walk away from these platforms.
Right. So we're gonna jump, Rob. We're gonna jump to I don't think I have an image for it, but the FTC safeguards rules. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Financial institutions must apply with the compliance. I don't like this as much. I don't want my banks telling the government what I am doing. It's none of their business if I pull $3,000 in cash out or I put $10,000 in cash in.
This is the safeguards rule is actually it's been in effect, believe it or not, since 2003, and it closely models many of the requirements of Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, which are privacy concerns, safety or security concern type things. But this has been in effect since 2003, and in January of this year, they actually said, okay, this is being implemented, and by December 9th, we're going to start enforcing it.
Right.
So what does this mean? What is a financial institution? Now, you would think that's banks, credit unions, mortgage companies, that type of thing. It's far wider spread. If you're a car dealership and you offer financing, or if you're a furniture store and you offer financing, then you fall under this safeguard rules requirement, which is going to be enforced. Now, what does enforcement typically mean, do you think?
Right.
That's where they're going to charge fine, or they're going to levy a fine against a business if they are not using these things. So that's really why I wanted to call attention to this.
Yeah.
Is because there's going to be enforcement of this rule that's been around for 19 years, and they're going to finally start requiring specifically financial institutions. It'll spread from there because everybody in business is going to have some type of safeguard rules in place. So it's going to start here.
I'm glad you did this because I was, a friend of mine is the manager of a bank, and we were talking about this. And he was talking about all the things you're talking about. But ultimately I said, but here's the thing. The one thing that I don't like about all this is the fact that when I go in, and this happened to me 2 months ago, we were buying a trailer, right? And so I went and pulled cash because the guy goes, I don't want a check, I don't need credit cards, I just want cash. I'm like, okay, I'm good with that. So I went and I pulled a certain amount of cash out, and the teller asked me, goes, I have to ask you this legally now, what is this being used for? And I went, none of your business. She goes, then I have to report it. I said, well, report it. It's none of your business why I'm taking my money out. It's my money. It's not your money. It's my money. Yeah. She goes, oh, come on, seriously? I'm like, seriously, it's none of your damn business.
Yeah, you can do $9,999 and they won't question it, though?
Well, now we pulled less than that, and they questioned it.
See, that's the last time I did anything like a large amount. I did 9,900 just so it wouldn't be as.
Right. And if you put that $5,000 or more into a bank,
Yeah, they.
where'd you get the money from? It's none of your business.
Yeah,
Found it outside under my bed,
that
or
crazy?
dug it up out of my yard. That's where it's at. Sorry.
Yep, and the same
That's
thing.
the crap that I don't like.
Same thing is happening with cryptocurrencies, and I know that's another whole area, but it's just we don't
I
need to
do
go.
want to do a show on crypto.
Yeah.
Because that's your world, not my world. If I can't see it,
Well,
touch it, feel it, blah, blah, blah.
there's a very, very, very strong, active type of effort to get rid of things that are all crypto, I guess you could say. So it's going to make it challenging, but I think the amount of people in crypto are going to be able to keep it alive. But there's a battle going on right now. That's why you're seeing prices there tank as well. But yeah, we'll save that for another show.
Oh, I definitely want to totally get into that, but because I literally don't know enough about it to be smart enough to talk about it. I was looking the other day about buying some Dogecoin coin because I know that's Elon's, and
It's not really Elon's. He just talked about it one time and it went up. And yeah, it's not his. It's a completely. It's one of those things that there's no real value in it. You can't use it to buy anything. It's just something to have. So
I thought all digital currency can be traded now. Or
no.
used to be
Oh no, Doge cannot be used to trade.
What is it?
This is like buying a token, from an amusement park.
An NFT?
You pay.
Is it
it's not even an NFT. No,
NFT is a piece of artwork, right?
Well, it's anything that you want to make a single item to be unique. In other words, you could take the same artwork and put different NFT, non-fungible tokens on each one of those and maybe even number them or something like that. So that you have something that could be considered of value. You can sell it, you can keep it and hold it and all that. They're even doing digital real estate
Which
now.
you don't even get. It's not even yours. It's just digital.
It's digital.
It just exists in this make-believe world.
People are paying over $1 million for digital real estate now just because it's on Park Avenue in New York City. And it's like, you got to be kidding me. It started out in the hundreds of dollars, then it went to the thousands, and
but
now
it doesn't really exist. It's not
It
tangible.
doesn't. It's like just
Stupid people.
It's the way of the future, I guess. I don't know.
So I guess
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Layoffs hit tech sector with force as Amazon Lyft warned of economic down. Why are we?
Yeah,
we're not warning anybody.
Yeah.
God have mercy. It's just
So
I just wanted,
this is related to the other ones as well.
I just wanted to put it on there because I was like, But let's talk about the bike.
Yeah, that and the flying taxi,
my
right?
God, the flying motorcycles.
If we could put that video up, this is really cool.
Actually, Rob will play that video for us, and we can kind of talk over it if you want.
It's really cool because this is one exciting piece of our future. Because if you were trying to get to the game after the game yesterday, then you would have really loved one of these things, right? Because and it's actually these devices exist. It's just, getting to the point where they become affordable. And of course, there's going to be those that are going to, that have just tons of money and they're going to just buy these things. But there's some that are battery powered and some are kerosene powered, which I thought was interesing. Kerosene. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's others
Very
that are using.
Unstable.
Well,
nice.
Well, that's the thing. You need to be able to get like the type of propulsion necessary to do this type of thing where you're seeing it lift off and then be able to skirt across the sky like that. And just think, how in the world, unless you have, and they're already talking about having deployable chutes and things like that if it detects a
malfunction.
Yeah, some type of malfunction. But that, of course, is we have to worry now about things falling from the sky. And if there's sky rage instead of road rage, I mean, what's that going to lead to? But anyway, interesting concept on this. And here you got the guy, meeting up with his payload that he's going to, go to wherever he's going to work or whatever, and then be able to, because he can't carry everything on that bike. I think some of them have I've seen a few of these. Some of them have a max weight of like being able to carry 450 pounds. I think this one's 225 or something like that. So you can't be a big boy riding one of these.
You want to know how the best way to sell new tech is? Is say, we can use this in rescue.
Yeah, and that's usually military and rescue.
That will put it to the fast pace automatically. Because, we can use this to go rescue hikers or people out at sea. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So. No. Do I want to use this? No, I want to ride it because it's freaking cool as hell.
Yeah, and the thing that's going to really help this advance the quickest is the battery technology, because a lot of these, some of them have very short ranges, like only 90 miles, 100 miles, something like that, because
Right.
of the battery technology. Anything that's fuel is going to be limited to the range of that fuel, whatever it's going to be.
Right.
And some of them are actually a couple hundred miles decent. However, most of them are going to be relatively short range for personal transport. And the helicopter-ish one, the taxi, I thought that was kind of interesting too. It just means we have to have infrastructure for that. So maybe we're going to have these little towers
Right.
placed in key areas where you can take these, like the one that we have on screen here can seat 4. And it's pilotless, actually, but they do have human override.
Oh, no,
so.
no. I don't want to get anything that ain't controlling. I am so sorry. Nope.
So it's actually
still
a
don't
pretty cool concept. This one, I mean, they literally, that's an actual taxi right there, one of their taxis. So.
That reminds me of, what's that movie where the guy gets his brain scrambled and he goes to Mars? It had Schwarzenegger in it, then they did a remake. And anyway, the taxi driver show up and he's like, he's a robot, I'm Buddy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and he's like,
Yeah, that was
I'm like, no, I'm good.
the Fifth Dimension, I think, right?
No.
Oh, Fifth Dimension was one too. That was pretty cool. But yeah,
Fifth Element had,
or Fifth Element.
no,
yeah,
that was,
Element.
no. Oh, what was God dang it. It was Schwarzenegger. He was starting
Yeah,
off
that's
on Earth and
Total Recall.
Total Recall, yes.
Yeah, love
And he
that
had
movie.
Buddy the taxi driver. I'm like,
Yeah, that's right.
no. No, I don't want Buddy the taxi driver. I want somebody that actually can drive.
So if we get things like this in the future, we're going to have a great
We
time.
got 7 legs. Hey, if you got anything that you want us to watch or you want to look at, hey, look, if you find something on TikTok you don't think is true, send it to us. We'll see everybody next week. Have a techie week. Bye.